Can you introduce yourself and as well as your organization po?
I'm Orly Darnayla I'm the founder of Baybayin Hub, and we are converting resorts and hotels in the Philippines and eventually in Asia to a co-working, co-living space because of what happened. The tourism industry or hotels and resort, they need to pivot, and that's the Baybayin is coming in. So yeah, I'm there you go. That's sweet and short.
So actually po may na-interview din kami from Boracay and yung concept po nung business na work from home but in a kind of a resort. So similar po kayo ng business.
We have nationwide.
Ah,
We have
so not just
Palawan.
in
I
Boracay,
believe,
ay not just in Siargao.
yeah, because last year we were the one who introduced this in the Philippines, no? And if I'm not mistaken, we are so happy because there are now practitioners who's following I don't say it a trend because I've been remote worker for the past 16 years. And it just accelerated because of pandemic. We were featured in local and international media, no? Singapore, Hong Kong, Europe, and the Philippines. We were interviewed by ABS-CBN, GMA7 because we believe we are pioneering this, and Boracay followed, other follows, and it's good for the ecosystem in the tourism industry.
Yes po. And how many years po has Baybayin Hub been operating?
We are a pandemic startup. So
Ah,
just to give you an idea, I own a hostel, and during pandemic, all the tourism industry, right, local, international, was directly hit. You know what I mean? So, and I don't want to lose my business. Since I'm a practitioner and I know the digital nomads and remote worker community, I called, some of my colleagues. And during the lockdown in Manila, I told them, hey, stay here. And they did. And through surviving, we were able to thrive during pandemic. So because I refused to close my hostel in Manila. And then after that, to cut the story short, my colleagues in the industry, because they're resort owners, they called me like, Orly, what did you do? I said, yeah, I pivot my business because I don't wanna close, and I'm not sure when the pandemic will stay, or during that time we don't know what will happen, right? And so some of my colleagues told me, hey, can you help me? I'm like, sure, I have the blueprint and so on. I'm familiar. I travel and I've seen this. This is not a new concept, by the way. We went to the resort and we copied the blueprint that what I did. It went successful again, and then word of mouth na. So resort owners are calling me. They're like asking for help and everything. So, and I cannot do it like manually. So I decided, okay, you know what? Okay, let's make a booking engine who can focus only right now for remote workers or digital nomads. And this is the birth of Baybayin Hub. Our blueprint, because it was very effective, the resort hotels, they don't know the market. So from pricing, how to curate them, how to manage the community, how the ecosystem works. We have now 60 partners and growing nationwide from Cebu, Boracay, Palawan, Puerto Galera, Ilocos Norte, and so on. This is a very good example of pivoting and, of course, adapting during crisis. I think the difference what stand by buying up to others, I work with LGUs. I work with them because they don't know this one. That's why in Pangasinan, we were able to make it because the LGU there is very supportive. We don't want to hide. That's why I go directly to the mayor. Hey, mayor, you need to see the program because it can help the economy.
what kind of support does the LGU provide po for the
They,
business?
right now, we need the market education and customer confidence, and that's what I focus on because Filipino, this is relatively new. For them, it's kind of superficial, but no, as long as there's an internet, we can work and live there. You know what I mean? So the LGU supported us, of course, by differentiating the tourists to our digital workers. Because every time there's a GCQ, whatever, they get scared. I was like, no, you don't need to be scared. I believe we're the safest customer because we stay longer. We don't roam around in the island or in the region. because all we need, similar in Makati, you stuck in your office. The difference is if you live in a resort, we have 2, 3 hectares walking around, and there's not for anything. There's no tourists because the pain points that we are trying to solve with the LGU, they were scared with the tourists. So I told them we are not a tourist. In fact, there's a Republic Act 11165. I don't know if you're familiar with that, Michelle. It's a telecommuting act designed for digital professionals. It was approved before pandemic. So I would say we are kind of disruptive because every time there's a checkpoint, they don't know this telecommuting act, they don't know the what is digital professionals, what is digital nomads, and so on. That is why market education and customer confidence with the help of LGU is very important to us for as a nation or as a tourism local industry to move on. Otherwise, we're gonna go backward. I presented the program to DOT. We're very proud to say they're adapting. Ilocos Norte adapting, Zambales adapting, Pangasinan adapting. Now I'm going to Palawan to have a meeting with the mayor. If I'm not mistaken, it's just my point of view. Some of them are doing this, yes, but it's still the approach is tourism. I have a room, but there is a deeper design experiences. We need to respect the law as well and engage the government to move forward our economy. Kasi ecosystem yan eh. And in fact, I'm telling to everyone, this is not a new concept. It's done by Lonely Planet, analog time, 1960s, 70s. That the difference is there's no internet. Now we have the technology. We need to use it in our own advantage.
So I see po na the LGUs that you've contacted are very supportive, but are there other stakeholders po that could hinder? Since you mentioned din po that not all people are knowledgeable of this kind of business, so it's a new concept to them. So they treat your customers as clients. So does this kind of hinder your business po?
In Baybayin, I would say yes, definitely. That's one of the challenges from traditional resort owners. That is why we conduct orientation and training. We physically go there, and most of them, of course, the resort owners, they're established people. I think they're decision makers and they know what they're doing. But again, that's why we visit them and have a Zoom call and physical meeting. But most of the owners who are older than me, they prefer physical meeting. We just we don't mind. We have a blueprint, we have a system, effective system. We show it to them, to those who are onboarding. Yeah, that's why we have 60 resorts and every month it's growing organically. Now this year, there's the one who's approaching us. Because last year, of course, there's a few. They're skeptic about us, no? They don't know what we're doing. But again, we don't force them. We prioritize who understand and believe in our vision. This is the future of work. And as I always said, this is not a new concept. The pandemic accelerated everything, the way we work, the way we live. And it just happened for Baybayinhub. We became well known. I would like to believe because for majority, it's like this is something new to them.
Yes.
We're just 8, 7 months old startup. So I would say because we are really helping or we are providing solutions to the customers and to the stakeholders. That's what set us apart from different, I don't know if someone is trying to do the same or whatever. You know what I mean?
And this business started in Siargao, or is it?
Uh, no,
It
it
started.
started in Manila because I have a hostel in Manila near the house, near at the airport. Because Manila was right lockdown right during the time, so I was like, we don't want to lose our staff, we don't want to lose our investment, and we know the people. As I have told you, it was designed by nomads for nomads. Simple, straightforward. That's why when they check into our place, they're comfortable because we design the experience and we design how they work and live in a spacious area. Yeah, at the end of the day, it's working.
And these owners would like to also adapt your business model.
Yes, they did. In
That's
fact,
why
they
they.
signed.
Uh,
That's why they signed up. We have 60 from a very affordable to five-star resort and hotel. So I think
that's
that's a very good validation, right? We have 10 right now in Boracay. We have 5 in Siargao. We have 6 in Palawan. I believe we have 20 in North Luzon. And we have a Bicol and Puerto Galera. Because, they need help. We have the system that is working, it's sustainable and it's scalable. And now they know how to take care of this kind of market. And before pandemic, nomads or digital nomads, remote workers, we are considered niche market. But pandemic, I told them, from the niche market, we are now the new market, the new normal market.
and since you're operating mostly in small islands, what are there other crisis that you encounter?
The crisis would be, or the challenges is always the internet and the LGU. Again, that's why we are doing market education. The economy is back and forth. People get confused. So I believe working with government, asking their support in this kind of program is a big help because nobody travels international. And to be able to thrive the tourism local industry, we need to involve the government, everyone. It's an ecosystem.
I'm just wondering about the internet, since you mentioned that there's a challenge with the internet connection, but since the concept is like a work from home place, how do you manage that?
We believe in transparency and honesty. Every digital nomad, every remote worker, every digital professionals are different. Not for anything in Boracay, you can have like 50 to 100 Mbps. But the question is, are you willing to invest to pay for your stay for 8,000 a night? So if you have that, we will encourage you to stay in 4-star to 5-star resort. Now, if you're kind of tight budget, we still have the internet. But again, if you are a multimedia, if you're a developer, of course, you require a fast internet. And if you're in a tight budget, hindi naman pwede doon sa mga 10 to 20 Mbps. To answer your question, our profiling of customer is very important. So we could recommend and tell them the status of the internet. Honesty and transparency, but everything has a price. So for example, if you are a writer, right, or you are a virtual assistant, you can use 10 to 20 Mbps because it's just an email or Zoom call. So you can stay into from 20,000 to 40,000 a month with a decent internet. Not so fast, but it's sustainable for you to do this. Pero for other remote workers, for example, kami rin, ako, nagbo-multimedia ako. Oh, I cannot stay there for a long time because I need upload and downloads. So I don't mind investing on myself to check in with 50 to 100 Mbps. I think it's not pricey because it's discounted. So it depends on your lifestyle and your income. We offer flexibility and affordability. There's no way to say, hey, I don't have money. Hey, it's too expensive. No. That's why we profile all our guests. We ask, what kind of lifestyle do you need?
Since you've mentioned as well that your response to this kind of challenge is being transparent to your customers, but on your end, do you also change things up or mobilize your resources to address these concerns? Like, do you reorganize your staff or reorganize your finances?
Yes, definitely. We believe in feedback. We are obsessed with end user experience. We are obsessed with the customers and the resorts feedbacks. For example, Michelle, you're the guest, no? Oh, how's your stay for 15 days or 1 month? Tapos we're gonna ask the resort owner, how's the stay of Michelle? Is she rude? Because we also grading each other. Kasi kung for example, if you are unrespectful, definitely we will mark you as a guest that you cannot book again. That's why we are very particular in customer acquisition. So yes, to answer your question, it changes from time to time.
And the distribution of your customers, are they mostly Filipinos or are they mostly foreigners?
Because the border is closed, majority are Filipino, millennials, young professionals, young couple. And we have a family also, entrepreneurs, they're, established demographics who, of course, who can embrace this lifestyle. And we have expats as well, stuck here or have a working visa here or married, Filipino or dual citizenship.
And it's really nice po that you're really knowledgeable on this kind of business. So, in assessing yourself as a business po, how prepared do you think you are for adversities and crisis?
Are we talking about the adversity of the pandemic or in general?
In general po.
Let's start with pandemic. There's winners, there's losers, right? In this uncertainty, I called it uncertain times. We depend on the government how to react. If we're talking about on a business perspective, especially in tourism. So this is a very good example, as I mentioned to you, market education. If we cannot educate the government and the people about what we're doing, urong-sulong tayo. So the economy will not go straight forward, di ba? Kasi minsan, okay na yung growth. The Boracay, the Palawan prepared, no? For everything. They're excited, welcoming these tourists. All of a sudden, sa Manila, there's an outbreak again. So they will stop again. And I think that's not bad. And we have seen this since last year. That is why we're telling them, hey, even there's whatever got coming on, we set a standard how to qualify. I'm talking about on the tourism perspective. There's a way how to address this because we are not a tourist. Because it's very clear to the tourism and the government, if you're a tourist, you cannot go out. In fact, there's a local migration program for we're convincing, telling to Manila people, get out, because it's cheaper in the province and it's healthier. You flip the story in a good way where everyone can benefit and it's an ecosystem. That's number one in pandemic, right? I'm talking about the tourism industry, right? Number two, if you're talking about the typhoon weather, the in the tourism industry, it's a general practice. Of course, LGU, Philippine National Red Cross, HR are always involved. Of course, if there's a typhoon, because I have a hostel in Cebu near at the beach also, we know what to do. If there's a typhoon, the priority, of course, you shut down. You cannot battle the nature, right? That's why we have this Red Cross training, disaster management training. Those are the I would call standard practice.
So next question po, during crisis, how do you get updates on the current environment po in your business?
Listen, adapt. When you say adapt fast, we need to be alert about what's the government's talking about. The LGU and the DOT and the WHO is very important for us to update the tourism industry for us to be able to know what's our next step. In my personal point of view, the tourism industry depended on the government right now because they're the one who's shutting us down every region. We don't have control because we need to follow the law. So otherwise, they're gonna revoke our license. To adapt, my answer would be follow the law. We need to follow the law. And at the same time, I'm going back to that's why we have a meeting, we have this open discussion and presented the program of Baybayin Hub. Hey, check this, check this future of work. We're telling them we believe digital professionals in the Philippines can help the economy to bounce back. It's local migration, long stay. So, and it's improved the quality of life of the Filipino people from Manila to migrate in the provinces. Ever since we started, that's what we are doing. It's just a matter of time. If I told you some of the regions, following our advice and they're trying slowly, adapting into this new normal. And this adversity, we need to be optimistic, at the same time pragmatic, because health is the number one priority, right? In fact, the pandemic shifted to what? Health. At the end of the day, health pa din ang sinusolve natin lahat Kaya nga may mga anxiety sa Manila na, di ba? It's too much. So anong sabi ni Baybayin Hub? What we're trying to say, hey, stay away from crowded cities. Let's go to Boracay. Let's go to Palawan. But it depends to you. But of course, not everyone can do that. That's why we focus on digital professionals. And we have 1.5 million digital professionals in the Philippines. And it's growing. We had almost 700,000 employees BPO. And majority of BPO during pandemic shifted to hybrid work or remote working. That's a very good number. And we have BPO agents staying in Baybayin Hub, long stay.
And how about po within your organization, since you're operating po in different places, how do you communicate with your staff during crisis po?
First, of course, we have the technology of video calls, and that's why we have a system. We are trying all our best to visit them to conduct a physical training. And of course, there's an app that's our communication technology. And aside from we are promoting remote working, aside from we are telling them digital nomads, remote workers are the new market, and it will explode. And in fact, we are excited when the borders open, Philippines is ready. We are ready. And that's why the Baybayin Hub, we never stop working, progressing to grab this opportunity to use these tools, technology. So that's how we communicate.
You as a manager, are there personal skills that you specifically use?
In our case, leadership is very important. Second, in Baybayin Hub, we prefer people who have people skills. So I would say one of the things that we are checking if someone or our team is joining Baybayin Hub, empathetic, compassion, kind, generous, people skills, especially yung pagiging patient, because we need to understand our brothers and sisters coming from Manila to going to other region, and they don't know what's happening. And the advantage is, that's why I mentioned to you, that's why we trying our best to visit every region so that they would know the pain points, the challenges, and they will not experience that. Again, I'm going back. Baybayin Hub have a blueprint. Once you book with us, we're gonna send you a deck. We called it an onboard. Welcome, Michelle. So we tell you need to read the PDF file and the videos because as much as possible, we don't want to hassle. That's our customer acquisition, 2 to 3 days. We invest on telling them and setting up the expectations because they haven't go out in Manila for a year. We simplified the system, how to get the Region 1 protocols, Region 2 protocols, ready na kami. So, that's why research, updating, it's very important for us because that's the travel restrictions. Likely. And again, yung mga resorts then, of course, if they don't have proper training, I'm 100% the guests will complain. That is why if they don't implement what we teach them, of course, we are back and forth reminding them or otherwise, parang okay, we need to stop because you are not aligned. We need to follow the system. These are long stay guests. If we don't have rules, if we don't have policies, chaos yan. So that's the Baybayin is doing. We set up policies, rules, and of course, adapting to the resort kung ano gusto niya. Because every resort is different and we cannot say, hey, you need to implement this. No, we have this proven, efficient, and effective. A-add lang namin sa kanya.
And how do you turn these challenges po into opportunities naman for your business?
Well, Baybayin is working with 60 resorts nationwide. Obviously, we were able to help them because we are solving a very important problem. These are the opportunities that we are doing now. In fact, Baybayin Hub, we are on the works of branding every partner, no? Because they like the program, they like the project. They were like, hey, why not put Baybayin Hub in our place? Yeah, sure. Because I'm not competing with them. I told them, you have now a different market. Imagine, ilan lang ang summer sa isang taon sa Manila, sa Philippines? 2 to 3 months. And most of the time, di ba? Now, I told them, you are pandemic-proof business. Second, you can accommodate 2 different kind of market. Digital professionals, digital nomads, remote workers, and tourism or tourists. And the Baybayin Hub is supporting them. We are providing all the marketing video contents for the resort. That's what set us apart from everyone. We provide marketing, digital assets to every resort.
Yeah. So it's like after introducing the concept, you're ready to implement that kind of blueprint po in the resort.
We're implementing it right now. Every month, we're able to book organically.
I think this would be my last question na rin po.
Go.
For in general po, for the tourism industry, what would you recommend for other businesses then to be resilient, to be ready rin po for other crises in the future?
The crisis in the future, I cannot predict. Your preparation is always better. It's always, I recommend preparation. I think being proactive and assertive, checking the news globally as well. And what's the trend, right? What's going on? And for us to adapt quickly. Otherwise, you're gonna left behind or worse, you're gonna close our business. Pandemic changes not only the tourism industry, changes a lot. Education, traditional office. So in particular to tourism, that's why we're telling everyone this is the future of work. You need to research this kind of market locally and international. And in fact, we're telling them we are preparing now for international. We are preparing ourselves when the borders open. Because when the borders open, we are ready. Because I've seen, it's sad. There's a lot of resort hotels close down.
Mm-mm.
It's sad, no? So, and it gives us, and that's why we really like the project. We believe we can help both customers and the resort owners to bounce back. And the ecosystem. Imagine mo, bigyan lang natin example, right? 5 people. Renting, kunyari na lang 50,000 a month. That's 250,000 a month. They will eat, they will ride, ecosystem, stores, bicycle. And this going back to the being resilient, you need to listen to the market as well. Let's face it, tourism is struggling. And the tourism is dependent with the announcement of the government. That's why I told them, you need to adapt, you need to be open. Otherwise, you're gonna be stuck. And last year, yes, we struggled. because they don't know what we're doing. Now they're the ones. That's why you email me. I don't know how you did you find
Yeah.
us, but that's a very good example. I believe because we are doing a great project here, and that's why we're having this discussion because you'd like to know. It's all about the research, right? And
Yeah.
I hope you're able to get and use this research to tell to everyone, right?
Yes. And I think it's a really good concept. It's a really good business since you're somehow changing how the hospitality industry, how the tourism industry traditionally works. So it's
Yep.
I'm really excited po in the long term, in the future, how this will change the tourism industry.
There's a deeper and during our 30 minutes discussion, right? There's a deeper, in depth in this kind of business. It's not just like a room. It's not
Yes.
like a room. It involves the community, it involves the government, and it involves the people around you. It involves the Manila. It's a holistic. You know what I mean? It's just okay. We have a cheap room. In fact, we're telling them we are not all about cheap accommodations. We are all about intentional living because that's different. Because for Filipinos, pag sinabi mong co-living, dorm room,
Yes.
right? Apartment.
Oh.
And we are trying our best to educate them. No, we are all about flexible and affordable terms where it's intentional to co-work and co-live with one another. Once you stay there in the resort with other remote workers, digital nomads, that's gonna be your neighbor and office mates. And that's connections. At the end of the day, anong bagsak natin? Health, improve your quality of life. Get out, Manila students.